Here is the infamous Madonna problem, where it's projectile motion, and basically it's a projectile problem with no vertical velocity, which is going to be the nice basic one that will also be the Sonic the Hedgehog lab, and a lot of other questions on the worksheet. So if you read through, you have a couple givens. You have 250 meters. All right. You also have 30 meters per second. And the key for all these problems is to organize them. Make sure you put them in the right spots. So I already started a little box here to show how I'm going to do the equation, and I'm splitting up my list of givens. All right, and we can start filling in our list of givens. You always know that the acceleration vertically will always have to be gravity, 9.8. Horizontally, acceleration is always, always, always 0. Initial velocity vertically. If something's rolling perfectly horizontal, if something's flying off the cliff and has a perfect horizontal velocity, no vertical velocity, then the initial vertical velocity is 0. Initial velocity to 30 meters per second here must be horizontal. So 30 will be right there. Initial positions for both, if I don't ask for or give you initial position, you can always say it's 0. So I'll say xi for both are 0. All right. The 250 then is talking about height. So if it's talking about height, that has to be a vertical number. So the 250 is right there. So that'll be a vertical final position. I'm asking for how far away will it land. So I'm asking about horizontally from the base of the cliff. That's going to be horizontal XF. So that's my question mark. And time is unknown, and in these projectile problems, the only thing that vertical and horizontal have in common is time. So for this worksheet and for a lot of problems, you'll solve for time first. If you look at your list of givens, one side has only one unknown. Vertical has only one unknown because of time, or time is the unknown, and horizontal has 2. So you want to use the vertical side first to solve for time. All right, so organize it. Whenever I do a problem with projectile, I split my vertical and horizontal in my givens, and also when I do a problem. Okay, now big ugly equation is what you're mostly going to use, but again, to show you why, there is a time in your list of givens. It's unknown, but that's what we're looking for. And there is an XF, so that means that the first and the second equation are not useful. So we're going to use the big ugly to figure out time. So here's the equation we're using, the big ugly, but with vertical, you'll have that the initial position is 0, the initial velocity is 0, so really we're just left with 1/2 at squared. We do some algebra, and we solve for time, and we get time is equal to the square root of 2xf over a. Now we plug in our numbers, so this is again why we organize it, because now we can look at our numbers and say, okay, we have a square root. I'm dealing with vertical, so we'll make sure that I only use vertical numbers. So we have 2, and then xf, vertical xf, vertical xf is 250. Vertical A, 9.8. Now, a lot of you are used to doing negative 9.8 always, 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 and that's not a bad thing. But remember that if you have negative 9.8 here, then you make sure that the 250 is negative also, because we don't want to square root a negative number. You divide it out, and you get that the time will be equal to 7.14. Now that you have time, we know that the time here is 7.14. That means the time on the other side is the same, because it's the same object. So this is going to be 7.14 also. Okay. So now that you have time, you can move on to your horizontal numbers. The only equation you can use horizontally is a big ugly, because acceleration is 0. The first two equations are basically useless. So now we have the big ugly, and we're going to plug in our values. Xi is going to be 0 again. 1/2 at squared. A is 0 horizontally always, so that's gone. The only thing we have left is velocity times time. So our velocity, horizontal VI, is 30. T, horizontal T is the same thing as for both. Time is 7.14. Alright, multiply that out, and you get your answer of 214. There you go. Thank you.